40 for Rateable Crest Titans.
Welcome to the SeaconUK Rally Show here on Special Stage. Coming up in this episode, we've got action from the second round of the MRF Tyres BTRDA Rally Championship, the exciting Rallynuts stages. But first, we're here for our second visit to Cadwell Park in the Circuit Rally Championship calendar. It's the Healy Memorial stages, and as you can see, the sun is shining for the very first time on a rally this year, and we've got some great action for you from 9 stages in the Lincolnshire Wolds.
Straight out onto the hallowed tarmac of the Lincolnshire Wolds then, and on these early stages it would be the lead for Mark Kelly and Neil Coleman. It wasn't a big advantage though, only 2 seconds to be exact as our crews reached the halfway point of the rally. Second place at this stage then would belong to John Griffiths and Emma Morrison. The pair were charging hard, holding on to that fight right through the morning. A close position to take into the afternoon. We'd be looking very closely at this battle. For Ollie O'Donovan and Ashley Morris, it will be a little further back, but only by 20 seconds. That can all turn around pretty quickly on these circuit rallies. After 5 tricky stages this morning, that was a good start to the event, rounding out the podium positions at this stage for the Rallycross start. Paul Murrow and Callum Cross were going well through the morning stages, lying in 4th place on the overall leaderboard, just 11 seconds back from O'Donovan too. And 5th at this stage will be Roger Duckworth and Mark Fowler. I'll tell you what though, it was bittersweet. He was out rallying in a Fiesta R5 now instead of that old Subaru WRC. I know, disappointing, but he's going well. One of the first casualties from the top of the order will be Michael Igo and Will Atkins. They get caught out on a slippery infield section, just getting the car crossed up on the brakes and hitting the gate. The damage would be too severe to continue. They'd have to retire that Fiesta Rally too. That, of course, was going to be a bit of a helping hand for everyone behind them. One of those people being this man. Kyron Hankin, James Swallow alongside, they end the morning with 6th place overall. And for Tony Robinson and Mark Jones, it would be 7th. Not without their issues this morning, the pair reporting almost rolling the Skoda when they clipped one of the tyres in the stage. They do get away with it though to go into the afternoon with a top 10 overall position, bringing a bit more variety to the top of the results. And you know we like that here at Special Stage will be Jack Ives and David Reed in that Citroen DS3 R5 Evo. They take 8th place overall at this stage and the last of our Class 6 crews in the top 10. Leading the way in Class 4 will be Greg Inglis and Charlie Sayer-Payne. The Lotus pair, fastest of the 2-wheel drive crews at this stage and leading the class here at Cadwell Park by 7 seconds. That class lead will be over this man. Martin Hodgson, Tony Jones alongside, as always, 2nd place in Class 4. The pair rounding out the top 10 overall leaderboard as well. Continuing down that leaderboard, and looking at the positions just outside of the top 10, it will be the Class 5 lead for Steve Hill and Hal Ridge. They end the morning 14th overall in that Evo. Class 2 honours at this stage were looking good for Joseph Duffy and Aaron Brimblecombe. The Lotus pair going well and climbing the results overall as well, 16th for now. For Lee Ryan and Paul Webster, it will be 21st overall. They lead Class 3 as well, but only by a single second. And in Class 1, it was the lead for Oliver and Simon Howard, lying in 29th place on the leaderboard as well, with those times pretty respectable to go into the afternoon stages. A lovely day here at Cadwell Park, and we're back on the stages for the afternoon. No change in the class for Oliver and Simon Howard. They take the Class 1 victory. They do slip down a position overall into 30th. There was some change to keep our eyes on, though, in some of the other classes. We see Sam and Jack Cox taking the Class 3 victory after Lee Ryan drops down the order. And in Class 2, things would change as well. Joseph Duffy and Aaron Brimblecombe having to settle for 2nd place in class despite that charge through the morning stages, but things had been close. And by close, we mean exactly the same time overall as Daniel Poole and Irvin Holtham, who take the class victory on the exact same time based on a countback of the stage times. Class 5 would give us a new leader through the afternoon stages as well. Paul Walker and Liam Whiteley taking that class victory, as well as 12th place overall in the Evo. We're on to the top 10 then, and not as much change there as you might have thought given that drama through the morning, with Martin Hodgson and Tony Jones ending the rally in that 10th spot overall, second in the class. But taking the class victory will be Greg Inglis and Charlie Sayer-Payne. The Lotus pair having a good run, and it was great to see something different, challenging for results here in the Circuit Rally Championship, wasn't it? For Jack Ives and David Reed, it will be 8th place overall to end the rally. Everything in this half of the top 10 would now be fighting for Class 6 points as well, and it was close in that class, so they take 8th place there as well. For Kyron Hankin and James Swallow, it will be 7th. A strong end to the rally, even if they were fighting for the positions right to the end. All of that means it's a place change for Tony Robinson and Mark Jones. They switch places with the 208 T16 crew, ending the rally with 6th overall. It might have been disappointing to see Roger Duckworth leave that Subaru WRC at home, but he and Mark Fowler were anything but disappointing out there on the stages. A strong 5th place and a good showing for the pair in that Fiesta R5. A strong result to end the day for Paul Murrow and Callum Cross as well. They get through the rally without any major issues to report, ending the day just outside the podium in 4th. And speaking of that podium, well, there wouldn't be much change. Ollie O'Donovan and Ashley Morris keeping hold of that 3rd spot to the finish in the Hyundai R5. And for newly crowned Circuit Rally champions John Griffith and Emma Morrison, it will be 2nd place. They gave it their all today. They were the highest placed of our championship crews through the weekend as well, to take another good haul of points away from this weekend. All of that, of course, means, though, that there would be no change at the top. A delighted Mark Kelly and Neil Coleman taking victory here in that Skoda. An advantage at the end of the rally of just 6 seconds, showing what a close fight it had been to the finish once again for our previous Circuit Rally champions. So our time for the 2nd time this season at Cadwell Park comes to a close. The Alan Healy Memorial Rally, organised by Border Motor Club, is complete, and it's been a great day in the Lincolnshire Wolds. Here's a reminder of those overall results.
Mark Kelly back on top. You took the title in 2021, and this has to be a signal of intent.
It's nice to be back here for sure, after the last 6 months of last year. Yeah, Donington was nice to be back in the car after 5 or 6 months. Yep. And then I feel today the pace has been pretty much all day, with the exception of a small mistake on stage 2. So yeah, great to be back.
And a great fight with the current championship incumbents, of course, and the protagonists of this year's championship and our new mathematically crowned champions.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Just goes to show the pace in rally, and it's always kind of taking a step up, isn't it? And I've watched John and rallied against John now since he kind of got into the sport, and just to see the pace he's at now, and there's been nothing in it, has there? All day it's been literally 1 or 2 seconds in it. So yeah, great to be here, as I say.
Well, what an action-packed day here on the stages in the Lincolnshire Wolds at beautiful, sunny Cadwell Park. We don't get many sunny rallies these days, or we haven't so far this year. Up next, all the action from round 2 of the MRF Tyres BTRDA Rally Championship. It's the Rallynuts stages here on the SeaconUK Rally Show. Well, from the circuit of Cadwell Park for the Circuit Rally Championship to the forests of Wales here in Sweet Lamb in the Hafren stage. This is round 2 of the MRF Tyres BTRDA Rally Championship, with a roundup of action from the Rallynuts stages.
Onto the Welsh gravel we go, and into the stages. And we'd see Matthew Hurst and Declan Deere taking a startling lead at the top of the results as the crews end the morning stages. They pull out a 20-second advantage after 4 stages, leading both the BTRDA and the Welsh Championship results for now. Second at this stage will be Aaron Newby and Jamie Edwards. If they were surprised with their pace, they weren't showing it. Confidence in every turn of that steering wheel in the Skoda. This pair really putting their name on the series this year after a strong result on the Malcolm Wilson Rally. Clearly ones to watch for the title this season. Third place for now, speaking of champions, would be Elliot Payne and Tom Woodburn. Of course, our reigning Gold Star champ. Sadly not where they would have wanted to be by the end of the morning though. 36 seconds back from the lead. Not customary for Elliot at all, but they had the afternoon to fight back up the order. Russ Thompson and Stephen Link were as entertaining as always, and they were having a great rally so far. The pair lying in 4th overall. Enough for 2nd in the Welsh Championship standings as well. It was looking like a good day out here in Wales. Of course, they lead the B13 class with that result so far. For Alistair Ginley and Craig Thorley, it would be 5th place overall. Their return to the stages was going pretty well, and that ex-Elliot Payne car doing the business on the stages, as it always has been too. One of the drives of the morning, though, has to go to this man, Robert Goff. Paul Morris alongside, the pair ending stage 4 with 6th place on the overall results in that historic spec Escort. They looked as fast as their leaderboard times put them. That puts them in the lead of the BTRDA Silver Star Cruise, as well as 3rd overall in the Welsh Championship standings as well. Just let that sink in. A historic Escort. Wow. For Rob Wilson and Richard Crozier, it would be a strong performance to end the morning in 7th place. Their first time out this season, getting back into the swing of things, and things were certainly going well. Some good pace in that Evo. 8th at this stage will be Steve Black and Jack Morton. Steve swapping the 1400S Suzuki for that Fiesta Rally 2 this weekend. Just a bit of a change then. Out in the car that son Callum is more often associated with and was certainly out at round 1, the Malcolm Wilson Rally in. Nick Elliott and Dave Price once again bring a smile to mine and many other rally fans' faces by throwing that Fiat 131 around the stages. Alitalia flying between the trees here in Wales, and as well as looking good, it was fast as well. 9th place overall. And rounding out the top 10 will be a very fast Jason Pritchard and Phil Clark, only out in occasional rallies this season, building up to another assault on the Roger Albert Clark rally. But how could they miss Jason's home event? Their NRG North Road Garage Toyota dealership overlooking the service park at Bultwell's, the Royal Welsh Showground. The pace was still good here for Jason. The morning stages wouldn't go to plan for everyone though. We'd lose a couple of our crews crashing out in the opening stage, both in the same place in fact. Ian Bainbridge and Will Atkins rolling the Fiesta off the road first, shortly followed by the dramatic Escort of Joe Price and Chris Brooks. Pleased to report both cars missing each other and both crews walking away. Let's take a look then at some of the positions outside of our overall top 10. It will be 2nd place in the Silver Star for Boyd Kershaw and Keegan Rees. The Flying Kiwi ending the morning with 14th overall. Kershaw and Rees were just ahead of Ben Friend and Cliffy Simmons, 1 second back on the times to lie 3rd in Silver Star at this stage and 15th overall. In the R2 Cup, it would be Robert Proudlock and Stephen Brown taking the lead. The Opel Adam crew in 23rd overall on the leaderboard as well. And Dale Glover and David Smalley bring some Italian charm and some Italian roar to the Bronze Star, with that Alfa Sud leading the way after 4 stages by 7 seconds. That lead will be over Nigel and Kaz Jenkins, 2nd place in the Bronze Star for the Nova pair after 4 stages. And 3rd in the Bronze Star at this stage was an ever-impressive Lewis Hooper, with Rhys Edwards alongside. The pair also going extremely well to lead the Rally First category as well in that Rapid Micro. There's some sad news to report from the afternoon stages. We lose the barking Alfa Sud from the results, so it's all change. Dylan Fowler-Bishop and Dan Evans leading the rally now with 3rd place in the Bronze Star. For Nigel and Kaz Jenkins, it was still 2nd. Bittersweet really, as they should rightfully have claimed victory. But a problem with the Nova through the afternoon would be evident from the side of the stage. The pair dropped back, managing to hold on to 2nd place. Not bad for damage limitation. But that does mean It's the double this weekend for Lewis Hooper and Rhys Edwards, not only taking the Bronze Star victory overall, but also the rally first win as well. This could be the first time that that's happened before. Answers on a postcard, please. No change in the R2 Cup. Robert Proudlock and Stephen Brown guiding that Opel Adam to the end of the rally with a good advantage in the class by the finish. 25th place overall. Frustration after a big push for Boyd Kershaw and Keegan Rees. They were unable to hold on to that second place in the Silver Star, having to settle for the final step on the podium in third. A good, strong end to the rally though, of course. 19th place overall. But that does mean that they were overhauled by Ben Friend and Cliffy Simmons for the Escort pair to take second place in the Silver Star results this weekend and show us why they are former British historic rally champions. On to that top 10 leaderboard then, and we'd see some changes. Robert Goff and Paul Morris would slip down the overall results a little, but that result from the morning was cemented in all our memories and in the record books. That result's still a good one, leading the Silver Star cruise this weekend. Steve Black and Jack Morton get surprisingly up to speed so quickly in that Rally 2 Fiesta, ending the rally with 7th. Don't underestimate how big a change that car will be compared to the 1400S Suzuki that went before it for Steve. Hopefully, no arguments back at Team HQ over who gets to drive the Fiesta next time out. Rob Wilson and Richard Crozier were clearly trying right to the finish in that Ravenel Evo. They end the event with 6th place overall. That result also good enough for 3rd in the Welsh Championship standings as well. No problems to report for Alistair Ginley and Craig Thorley. They end the day 5th place overall after a good run in the Fiesta here in Wales. It had been a pretty impressive and clean run for Russ Thompson and Stephen Link, who keep hold of that 4th place on the overall leaderboard, taking their class win as well. Plus, those times put them 2nd in the Welsh Championship podium as well. After such a sprightly start, there was frustration up ahead for Matthew Hurst and Declan Deer. They have problems with a puncture in one of the stages, putting them right down the order and out of the lead. They do try to fight back, which was entertaining for us watching from the side of the stage. However, it wasn't to be. The pair taking 3rd place on the podium. The consolation being that they take maximum Welsh Championship points still with that finish. So with that change to the lead, it would be a place gained now for Elliot Payne and Tom Woodburn. They try to fight back through the afternoon, but 2nd place would be as high as the pair would be going this weekend. So all of that means it's a maiden victory here in the BTRDA for Aaron Newby and Jamie Edwards. A great result from round 2, placing their mark well and truly on the championship standings as well at this early stage of the season. So we come to the end of a pretty exciting Rallynuts Stages rally. Here's a reminder of how those overall results shaped up.
From tarmac to gravel, and now back to tarmac. We're staying in Wales, but we're over to Anglesey for the SMC stages and back to action from the Circuit Rally Championship.
The Ultratech SMC stages would mark our 2nd visit to Anglesey Circuit, and this time the weather was a little kinder. Fastest out of the blocks would be winners from last time out at Cadwell Park, Mark Kelly and Neil Coleman. Confidence brimming, they open up a good advantage in that lead as well. And that lead will be over 2nd place, Ollie O'Donovan and Ashley Morris. They were 19 seconds back from our leaders at this stage in the Hyundai. That place was anything but safe though. It was a position they shared on the overall times with Paul Murrow and Callum Cross though. 3rd place overall for the pair, but it could go either way through the afternoon. 6 seconds back from them would be Andy Scott and Laura Connell. The Fiesta pair going well and lying just outside our podium positions after the morning stages. After a pretty rough visit to Cadwell Park, Michael Igo and Will Atkins will be having better luck, if you could call it that, this time out. An overshoot on one of the stages wouldn't exactly help their times, but we do like a bit of over-exuberance from time to time here at Special Stage. The worst was still to come though. They end the morning 5th place overall. Not exactly where Michael would want to be fighting at this stage. Leading the way in Class 4 at this stage will be Jason and Lee Wilson in the Darrier. The fastest of our two-wheel drive crews at this stage, of course, in 6th place overall. Tony Robinson and Paul Spooner will be hoping to keep all 4 wheels on the ground this weekend. They were having another good run in the Skoda to lie in 7th place for now. And leading the way in Class 5 will be this man, Mark Smith. Tim Nunn alongside, the pair with a small advantage in that class to try and hold on to, lying in 8th place overall as well. Just behind Smith and Nunn in the class and overall positions will be Will Owen and Chloe Louise Thomas. They were just a handful of seconds back on the order, so a big push was on the cards in the afternoon to try and overhaul that position. Rounding out the top 10 at this stage will be Martin Hodgson and Tony Jones. The pair in a similar position to their previous event at Cadwell, lying 3rd in class on an identical time to Owen as well now. Briefly looking just outside the top 10, it was the leading Class 3 for Daniel Poole and Irvin Holton, ending the morning with 14th place on the leaderboard. For Martin Rossiter and Kyan Williams, it would be the Class 9 lead. It was a good one at that as well, lying in 19th overall. And the Class 2 battle at this stage will belong to Adam Philpotts and Stuart McMaster. They end the morning 28th place overall. We're back out into the fresh sunshine here at Anglesey then for the afternoon stages. Some layout changes to contend with on the circuit as usual. And there'll be no change for Adam Philpotts and Stuart McMaster as they take the Class 2 victory this weekend. There were some changes in Class 3 though. Sean Jones and Gethin Williams would be the ones coming out on top in that class by the end of the rally, from 18th on the leaderboard. No change for Class 9 through the afternoon though. Martin Rossiter and Kyan Williams keep hold of that position to take the class victory this weekend with 17th. On to that top 10 leaderboard, and we see some changes to that as well. For a start, James Garner and Jack Cuttle round out the top of the results now with that 10th place, 4th in class. Martin Hodgson and Tony Jones would be the same class position here that they finished at Cadwell Park, 3rd in Class 4, but they do gain a position overall to end the day with 9th. Hodgson's battle with Will Owens and Chloe Louise Thomas would end with the latter pair taking 2nd in the class as well as 8th place overall, 20 seconds ahead of the escort pair by the finish. No change for Tony Robinson and Paul Spooner. They end the rally 7th place overall and another good finish in the bag in the Circuit Championship this weekend. For Andy Scott and Laura Connell, it will be 6th, dropping back a little on the overall times, but still a strong finish for the Rallycross pair. Mark Smith and Tim Nunn have a good run to take the Class 5 victory. A good, strong end to the rally for the pair, in 5th place overall as well. And just ahead of them on the overall leaderboard will be Jason and Lee Wilson. It was definitely Darien Weather once again, themselves taking the Class 4 victory as well, with those fantastic times on the stages. On to our podium positions then. It will be Ollie O'Donovan and Ashley Morris taking 3rd place, missing out on 2nd by just 10 seconds. And taking that 2nd place with it, righting some wrongs, will be Michael Igo and Will Atkins, climbing up the order through the afternoon to take that position and to be fastest of our Circuit Championship crews with that blistering pace as well. But that all means it's victory once again for Mark Kelly and Neil Coleman. A nearly faultless drive in the Skoda, and we're becoming used to those, aren't we? Once again, taking victory by almost a minute. So the Ultratech SMC stages is complete, and with it, the season comes to an end. Here's a reminder of those final results.
Very greasy this morning, so it was tricky. Coming in thinking, are we overdriving because we're having a lot of understeer, but I just think it was the conditions being so greasy, and then as it's dried out as the day's gone on, the pace has just got hotter and hotter, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's been incredible this afternoon for the pace. We spotted you this morning having a little moment in the bank on the as you turned off the top down the hill. Plenty of mud flying everywhere. Caught on camera as well. So, any of the dramas today?
That was the main one, really. There were a couple of others earlier on, but that was the biggest one. I said to Ollie then, there was no grip into that right-hander at all. Well, that's my excuse anyway. And I think what saved us was just keeping the throttle planted, and thankfully the car pulled us out the mire.
Well, that's it from our roundup of action from rallies around the UK. We hope you enjoyed that action as much as we did. New faces fighting at the top of the MRF Tyres BTRDA Rally Championship bodes well, doesn't it, for the big fights we've got to come this season. We'll be live again for the next round, which is the Border Counties Rally, coming up very soon, so we'll see you then. And if not, we'll catch you for more roundups of action around the UK rally scene in next month's SeaconUK Rally Show. Thank you for watching.
Care 40 for Rateable Crest Titans.